This one's not as pervasive as many of the myths that we'll cover week to week, but it's one that we're still surprised at how often it does come up. Okay, and the myth this week that we're going to debunk is that you should guard your ideas so someone doesn't steal them. So again, some of you might be scratching your heads, like we scratch our bald heads and go, well, why would you keep guarding your ideas? There's sometimes a healthy but often an unhealthy dose of paranoia that many owners of small companies have, which is that they want to keep so much information so close to the vest and not really let things out. And it can be anything from just different ideas to strategies for the business to sharing what the numbers are, whatever it might be. But just there's a certain paranoia or way that they want to just kind of keep things themselves. It's often that they're afraid people are going to steal stuff instead of engaging people in this and to help forward that discussion or take that idea from an idea stage to say here's how it can actually help the business.
Yeah, we see that all the time, especially with engineers. Engineers are famous for that, for worrying about somebody taking their idea and running with it. My God, that's the least of your problems. It takes great planning to really take a product to market. But engineers, when I single them out, they basically run out and get patents and spend all this time to cover their idea with the patent, the expense and the time, because it feels like, well, if I do this, I'm protected. Oh, what happens is it takes so long to get that patent, and they aren't working on the business side of business, and that patent, when they finally get it, sits in a desk drawer and nothing happens to it. Or it goes up on a wall, and people who come over to that basement look at it and say, hey, boy, you got a patent. We teach in our coaching 3 segments that we just call it simply the 3 circles. And it starts out with knowing and developing a product or a service, and that could start with an idea, and that's okay. You can get a patent if you want for something that you've maybe developed in that form, but it starts that way, and it really is nothing until you start to talk about the market that it's going to serve, who's going to buy or who needs this product or service, and then last but not least, the administrative part of the business. How are you going to find the people and pull together the plan and basically the funding, the necessary ingredients here to move this product along? The least of your problems right now is somebody's going to come along and steal it and do all those things quickly and easily just by stealing your idea.
Well, yeah, I think most people can relate whether they own a company or not, Jack. I mean, I remember years ago I had a friend of mine that said, hey, those whole, cereal bars that people now eat in the cars all the time? And I thought of that thing 7 years ago. And I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, I'm sure you and, 10,000 other people thought about that. But the person who invented it or took it to market went from the idea stage, beyond that. But, one of the things we often encourage our clients to do is to open up and share their thoughts and ideas. Because one of the it's not a secret for today, but it's a secret of business too, is that people think that the owner has all the answers. They'll ask them questions, and so it takes a lot of humility to admit that you don't know all the answers. And so the idea can often be intimidating or scary to get up in front of your team and present and talk about your ideas. But a lot of great things can come out of it. We had a client years ago when she first started to present her company to her team about what they were trying to do, and they were expanding into some new market areas. And she said, "Here's what we're looking for." Just trying to be able to inform her team about some new areas that they were going into. And within the next month, one of her key frontline employees was out, just doing his normal thing. He was out Thursday night, shooting pool with his buddies, and it happened that one of the guys he was playing pool with happened to work at a company that they wanted to get into. And long story short, it turned into a $500,000 opportunity for the company, all because they talked about with their team what was going on. It's fantastic to be able to open these things up, but not everybody likes that. We had another client that when we first started talking to them about what we do from a coaching standpoint, and Jack and I were presenting stuff, and this guy was who was the owner was all for everything that we were talking about in terms of our 3 circles that Jack was talking about, but also our 7 keys to success. And when we got to the 7th key in terms of presenting, he said, "Wait a minute, you mean you want me to share my numbers with my people?" He said, "There's no way I'm ever going to share my numbers with my team, right?" I mean, he was adamant, slammed the table, and got him walked out of the room.
It's old line thinking. It's, much better to have a few brains working for you than just your own. And sharing that idea is huge. Sharing information is huge.
It is, and so we actually converted that guy over. It took a little while, but he started to give in and got his team more involved and started to be able to open up about stuff and started to see the very positive aspects of that. You know, to your point, Jack, getting more brains involved, so, especially when you have good people, helps them grow, helps to move things along much quicker. Because you know, part of the challenge is too, you can only move so many things along, so all your ideas are just going to sit there and stagnate. Let the rest of the team kind of get there and let them bring their experience. Somebody that you're not even thinking about might have a piece of information or have some availability, where it might be, to help move that idea along, either to where it's good and can be part of the business, or you know what, move it off the table and say it's it's not a worthy idea. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, we like to have fun, and when we coach, we try to engender fun into the process. And basically, if you're worried about somebody stealing your ideas and you're holding everything close to the vest, a lot of negative energy that's created. Little collaboration, you don't move it along. Quite frankly, you become a pain in the ass.
I was just going to say, it's a good point, Jack. You're not going to be much fun as the owners. People, you know, people will take their cue from you. So if you're kind of a pain, or you aren't having fun, people will feel that. So don't, you know, make sure you're having some fun from that standpoint and be able to get people involved. So
very important.
all right, stick around.